Hello there. Welcome to Unboxing the Boxes, my Star Wars collection. I am Collector Steve, and I have a question for you. Did you have a favorite teddy bear as a child? Yeah, I know this is a raccoon, but the question still applies. Or did you have one of the many Beanie Babies that were out for sale? Or better yet, did you have a soft, furry Chewbacca Beanie Buddy? I have a bunch of the different Star Wars Beanie Buddies. Let's take a look in this video to see which ones I have. I think that it's safe to say that many of us had stuffed animals growing up. In 1997, the Star Wars Buddies hit the toy shelves. There were several various versions of the Star Wars Buddies, and as you can see, they are about the same size as the popular Beanie Babies. Most of these toys were from the original trilogy, although a few of them leaked into other movies at the time. Now, I don't think I have them all, and I don't have a checklist. I didn't take a look online to see where a checklist was. But I do have quite a few of them. So I thought, let's take a video and take a look at these and see what the current kids are missing. Well, to keep these a little more dust-free, I have stored the Star Wars Buddies in these star cases, I guess you could call them. Or this one happens to be a Protect case. They're a little bigger for the bigger action figures, but they worked real well for putting the Buddies into to keep the dust and stuff off of them. Like I said, this one happens to be Chewbacca. And wouldn't you know it, this is the only one that I do have doubles of. And actually, I can't really say a double per se, because the reason I have two of them is, look at the lanyards that they're wearing. This one is brown, this one is dark brown. So we have a variation in Chewbacca here. Both of these came out about the same time, so I got a feeling they just had a little different material that they were using, maybe from two different plants. I don't know. But I have two Chewbaccas, two variants of Chewbacca. The next one I have here is a few of the other creatures and races of the Star Wars universe. First, we have the Wampa, you know, the snow beast of Hoth. And this one makes for a very excellent Star Wars Buddy. It's nice and furry. Of course, it's got the little beans in there, make it nice and soft and squishable. Overall, it's kind of a pretty good likeness of the Wampa. We'll put him over here with the Chewbaccas. It's a little bit bigger than the other ones. And of course, if you're going to have Star Wars Buddies, you better have Wicket the Ewok. Now, Wicket is a little bit shorter hair, just kind of a short hair with the hood, a little bit loose on the front here, but it's sewn on the top of the head, so it's not going to fall off and go anywhere. Overall, not too bad. It's a good little Beanie Buddy. Well, I should say a little Star Wars Buddy for Wicket the Ewok. And we'll put him over here next to the Wampa. Now, Wicket doesn't want to sit very well. And of course, we have a Jawa. Most of his beans are right down to the bottom here. There isn't much in the chest. In fact, the chest is pretty empty. They could have maybe put a few more beans in there just to fill them out a little bit more. But we got the two eyes there. They don't light up or anything. They're just kind of sewn on, little rubies, you could almost say. But still kind of a cute little Jawa figure to add to the collection. The next one gets to a few more of our favorite characters. Favorite droids, I should say. The first of which is C-3PO. Now, C-3PO is not furry or anything. He's kind of more a little cloth type, metallic looking cloth. He's got beans all over the place in him. Actually, not too bad a likeness for a plush toy, if you want to call it that, or a bean-filled toy. He's also one of the 1997 collection. And I would be willing to bet he is not gonna, maybe he will sit decent. Now, of course, if we've got C-3PO, we better have R2-D2 also. It's about as good as you're gonna get with R2-D2. R2-D2, of course, is mechanical, and this is a plush, so it's basically just printed onto a little rougher type material. It's still a cloth material, but not like the t-shirt. Take a little more abuse, I would say, with this type of material. But with the way he's painted up and everything, this is definitely R2-D2. You're not going to mistake him for anyone else. Now this one I kind of liked. Max Rebo from the band of Return of the Jedi. And this one is full of stuffing. Man, it's kind of got to be, but now I have a question for you. Leave a comment below. This is showing Max Rebo with legs. Did Max Rebo have legs? I have heard it stated that Max Rebo does not have legs. He's got to walk on his arms, kind of like Sebulba does. But he does look cute with the legs and the hands there. And this was put out in 1997. So maybe this is the definitive version that we know that Max Rebo has legs. Now Max Rebo is a good musician, so we should have the representative from the other musician here, one of the Bith that played in the Star Wars Cantina at Mos Eisley. And this happens to be Figrin Dan. So the leader of the band. And he's got a nice soft furry head, a very, very little bit of fur on the head. The clothing is made out of regular cloth, and he does have his little instrument there that he can play. In fact, it's kind of sewn into his mouth, so he's never going to take that one out of his mouth, not the way this one is done. So we got our two musicians. Now, who really enjoyed the sound of good music? Well, of course, that would be Jabba the Hutt. And this, out of all of them, is probably the biggest of the Star Wars buddies. As you can see, he's longer than all the other ones because of his tail. Also a little heavier than the other ones. And he's not furry. He's not soft and cuddly like the Wampa or Chewbacca. He is more heavy-duty cloth once again. Kind of along the lines of R2-D2 here. But for a Beanie Buddy, he actually doesn't look too bad, considering what Jabba actually looks like. So I'd say this is a pretty decent likeness of Jabba the Hutt. We'll put him right smack in the middle here. Now, if you got Jabba, he did have one little creature that was kind of fun around the courtyard, or the court, and that would be Silicious Crumb. And Silicious Crumb is a little bit furry, and he's got this really nice little furry mane around his neck. And actually, it looks pretty decent for Silicious Crumb, but if you look at his eyes, they're kind of looking upward, as if, oh my goodness, we got to listen to that music again by Max Rebo. Doesn't he know any other tunes? So overall, a pretty good likeness of Silicious Crumb. Does come with a nice long tail to go along with him. So there are the original Star Wars buddies that I was collecting. These are all from 1997, and like I said, I don't know if I have them all or not, but I've got quite a few of them, including a variation. Now, let me get these out of the way, and we're going to go into round 2 of the Star Wars buddies. In 2004, they came out with another set of Star Wars buddies. And of course, one of them is going to be R2-D2. Of course, if you have the droids, you don't have to pay any actor any royalties or anything, really. So we've got R2-D2. Now let's see how he compares to the other R2-D2. Looks like he's got a little more detail, a little more brightness to the color pattern and so forth. More detail on the legs, as you can see. And even on the back of R2-D2, we've got more details. The original one didn't have much of anything. In fact, nothing. And of course, another detail is we do have his middle leg extended. So he actually stands a little nicer than the other R2-D2. So a good upgrade for the R2-D2 Star Wars buddy. We also have a new C-3PO. And this time, C-3PO seems to be waving, giving howdy-doody to you. If we compare him to the other C-3PO, we can see, of course, we've got the difference in the way the arms are made and so forth. And we can also see that there is more detail with the new version again. Now we have the wiring around his midriff, where this one just had black cloth around the midriff. So again, a nice little upgrade for the newer version of C-3PO. I don't think he's going to sit. This time, we also have a clone trooper. And as we can see, his neck is not filled quite right. It's kind of at an angle there per se. But pretty good likeness of a clone trooper. Good detail on the cloth print going around the front. And when we look at the back, we can see that detail does continue on the back, just like it did for the two droids here. So not bad. And once again, he's not going to sit very well. Now, the last one I have of this particular series is somebody who probably should have been in the first series, and maybe he was, and I just never saw it. But yes, that would be Yoda. So we have Yoda. He does have a little bit of a hood here, which I guess could go over his head, but if you do that, it gets in the way of the hanging tag for the store shelves. Looking at Yoda here, he's got a lot of hair that gets in his face, as you can see. Does come with the staff that he's holding. And as far as little Star Wars buddy goes, a battle buddy. By the way, these are battle buddies according to the tag. So I have a feeling there's probably more than what I have here. Yeah, there is. Actually, there's only 5 of them from the looks of the tag on the inside. So I have 4 of the 5. The one I am missing is Chewbacca, and I know he's not one of those because those have the green tags where these have the blue tags. So I'm missing Chewbacca from the Battle Buddies. What do you think of those? But there is more because a new movie called The Phantom Menace arrived in the theaters. So of course, that was the time these were coming out. We had to have Star Wars buddies for those too, you know. Now the first of these from, you know what? I thought this was, well, it was in a box from Phantom Menace Toys. But this is actually a Star Wars buddy. It belongs with this group. So I do have Yoda from the original one. Let me look at the tag once and see if there's a list of all the different ones in here. Oh yeah, there is. So Jawa, got it. Chewbacca, got it. Max Rebo, Wicket the Ewok, Jabba The Hutt, C-3PO, R2-D2, Silicious Crumb, Wampa, Figrin Dan, and Yoda. I have them all. I have all of the original Star Wars buddies. That is cool. But now that we have this Yoda, let's see how he compares to the Battle Buddy Yoda. You can see right away the clothing he's wearing is very different. The facial features are very different. The ears are different. In fact, everything is pretty much different between these two Star Wars buddies. I guess I kind of like the original one better than the new one. Leave a comment below. Let me know which one you liked. So it's kind of nice to know that I have all of those. That's nice. Now let's get to the Star Wars buddies from The Phantom Menace, otherwise known as Episode 1. And the reason I have to bring that up is when we look at the tags for these, all of them say Episode 1. More than likely, these toys were also being produced before Lucas gave the movie an actual title. Well, the first one we have here is, of course, Darth Maul. And if we get the tag out of his way, you can see Darth Maul's face there, wearing a really nice cloak around him. Actually, I'd say this is one of the better Star Wars buddies so far. Some decent detail on this little buddy here. Now, when I look at the tag, looks like something was chewing on the tag. I'm not sure what. There wasn't any little remnants of paper in the box or anything. So I have a feeling that's probably the way I bought it. So there is Darth Maul. Now, going along with that not so good guy, we also have Watto. Watto's got a nice belly on him, as you can see. He does have the 2 tusks, but they're not really well done. Or he does have his tusk, but they're kind of just pieces of cloth that stick out, so they're not hard or anything. That's one thing with these. There's nothing really hard anywhere on the figure. So if a sibling does throw this at another sibling, you're basically just going to get hit with a Beanie Baby. His wing does not like to come off to the side, and that might be because maybe he was stored away that way. And his wing is now stuck in the back. But overall, I like Watto. He's a good figure there. We have another box of figures. The first one, we have Jar Jar Binks. Of course, you know you're going to get Jar Jar Binks if you're going to have a Beanie Baby character, right? Or Star Wars buddy character. And actually, it's a really, really good likeness of Jar Jar for being a Beanie Baby. I like his eyes. They appear to be looking right at you. His face, of course, is a little scrinched where the nose is. And the clothing is done pretty well for Jar Jar, and it's got nice little details on his arms. So good little Episode 1 buddy. Now what's amazing is, so far, all these characters that we've seen are either droids or non-humans, shall we say. Suddenly, we get a few humans. And the first one of those would be Padme. Padme Nabary, it says on the tag here. And once again, for a Beanie Buddy type character, not too badly done. The clothing has some nice detail. I like the red belt buckle on her. She does have nice little cuffs on her shirt. And for the face is pretty simplistic. Nothing too much there. Now, I did notice on here we do have a price tag. So Padme was $6.99, and that appears to be the regular price for Padme. Now it's making me think I should just see what the others were, if any of them got a price tag on them. These three do not. Not seeing any price tags on these either. So I guess we're just going to call them all $6.99. I have a feeling the other ones there could be maybe $5.99 or something, seeing that they came out earlier. Now, in addition to Padme, we also have Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Padawan Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I noticed right away his braids in the back are all over the place. They're not all nicely tied together in one little braid. And he does also have the little side braid over here. Once again, he's got his Jedi robes on. Looks pretty good. And to tell the truth, I'm thinking if you wanted to, you could take the robe off of Obi-Wan. I think it would actually come off. So there's Obi-Wan. The last one I have of the Star Wars buddies would be Qui-Gon Jinn. And I don't know, you can say you like it or not, but the face could use a little more work, I think, to look a little more like Qui-Gon. But again, looks like the robe is removable. Does have nice Jedi clothing on him. A nice addition to this series of figures. Now, if we open up the tag and take a look, let's see if it says who's all in this one. This time the tags do not have a checklist on who's all part of the series. Okay, so there are all the Star Wars buddies that I have in my collection. They are not all the plush figures that were in the box, though, that I found these in. No, because I have a few more from Disney. Now, of course, these are the Disney Star Wars figures. So you know they're going to be a little different. And of course, first we have Jedi Mickey. You can open up his robe and see that he is actually wearing Jedi clothing underneath. And it just says on the tag here, Jedi Mickey Mouse Beanbag. So not part of a big series name or anything. Looks like in storage his Jedi saber blade has warped a little bit. This one actually does have a sticker on it. Take a guess. This is from Disney. I believe I bought it at Disney during one of my visits there. And according to the sticker, this was only $11. I would be willing to bet that in today's Disney World, this would probably cost you $30 or more, knowing Disney's prices. So I think that is a nice addition for Mickey. And yes, the hood does go up, but of course with those ears, it's not going to stay up. Now, as far as the bad guy, well, we have Darth Goofy. And I like Darth Goofy. He does have a cape on the back that is pretty clear. You can kind of see through it. Does have the details of Darth Vader, of course, but just with the face of Goofy. And once again, I noticed the price tag on this one is $11. So between Jedi Mickey and Darth Goofy, we've got a good start here. Now, granted, I've only got a couple of these. I have a feeling there was probably more of them out there, but I've only got a couple of them. I do have one more box that contains two figures. One of them, I believe, is from Disney. The other one is not. It's from another party that made some of these things. First of all, we do have another Disney one, and this happens to be Wicket the Ewok, or just Ewok. And yeah, he needs a little plane to get his eyes exposed here. The fur is totally covering up his eyes. And of course, his front fur is pretty much smashed being in the box so long. Does have a nice little cape behind him. Now on the tag, it does not say Wicket. All it says is Ewok Beanbag. This one was a little more expensive than these two, so I probably figured I bought this at a later trip to Disney, but still, it was only $12. Now the tag on this one, all three of these have different tags, so they were probably all kind of made at different times. They don't seem to be part of the same series. Kind of like the Ewok though. It's pretty sharp looking. Like I said, I do like the hood and cape on them. Now the last one I have to show you was not from Lucasfilm and Hasbro, was not from Disney. Nope, this was from a different party, a different manufacturer. You know those little snacks you like to eat, those little chocolate snacks? Well, if you remember the Mpire from the M&Ms, well, we have an M&M plush toy, and I would say this one is definitely based after Chewbacca. Now, if we look at the tag, yep, it's from the Chocolate Empire. And it is Chewbacca. For some reason, they used the yellow M&M for Chewbacca. But we look around, we can see that he does have fur all the way around him. His legs are furry, but he does have just regular legs until he gets to his furry boots, if you want to call them that. He does have a lanyard going around him. Now, when I look at the tag that comes with the figure here, it looks like the normal price was $6.99, but I bought this on sale. The sale price was $3.48, so a really good price on the M&M Chewbacca figure here. And like I said, unfortunately, this is the only one I seem to have. It's the only one that's with these anyway. If there's any others, they're hidden within the collection boxes somewhere. Well, there we have it. All the Star Wars Buddies figures that I have collected way back in 1997 through 2004 and beyond, you could say. Now, I do have a lot more, shall we say, current plush toys based on the sequels and so forth, but we're going to save those for another video. We're just going to leave it with these because these, let's face it, these are just kind of fun little furry things to play with, and I could see little kids having a little bit of fun with these. So which one of all of these is your favorite? It would be nice to hear from a few of you and let me know what you think of these. Do you wish these were still on the market? That's another question. Do you think these would sell if they were in the stores in today's market? Well, before I go, I would just like to invite you to like this video, share it with your friends, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notifications bell so that you're notified when more videos come out. Well, until next time, may the Force be with you and keep collecting!